Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Bengal Magazine. On today's show, we're going to hoop it up a little bit, talk women's basketball first, and Sue Roarke's joining us, along with junior Staci McElroy. And after that, Fajri Ansari, the men's basketball coach, ranked 16th in the country right now. And Fajri's bringing along Norman Simmons. And then Alexa Myers, our roving reporter, will be back to talk about a feature she did on swimmer Kaitlin Mergler. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hoop it up. Stay with us. All right, let's talk a little women's basketball, and Sue Roarke joins us along with Staci McElroy. And welcome, ladies. Sue, first time on the show this year. Why don't you give us a little overview of your team?
I think we have a nice group of returners coming back from us, and we also made some really nice additions. We got a couple of freshmen that I think will see playing time, and we also have 2 transfers that I think can contribute to us as well this year.
I get a lot of people come up to me in the first 4 games, and because they've all been home games, and Jesus, it's a nice team, Tom. It's a nice team. She's got a nice team. She's got a nice team. She's got a nice team. You got a nice team. What do you like most about your team?
Yeah, I think this year we're a lot deeper, and I think we can put some points on the board. We're fairly athletic, so I think there's a lot of good additions.
From your standpoint, you've been on the team for a number of years now. Is this the best team that you've been on, and what do you like most about the team?
I think it's the best team so far because we have so many good freshmen that can contribute, just like Coach said. And I think that we all work really well together, and we're all really athletic.
And you're talking about athleticism and freshmen. Name me some names here. We bring back her. Barb Klezak comes back. Who else should we be looking for right now?
I think we added Bianca Smiley in the center position.
A local lady, right?
Yeah, she went to Sweet Home High School,
okay.
So she's a sophomore for us. Definitely can rebound and score as well. And then some of the freshmen, Hillary Koller, who's a 3-point shooter.
Okay.
She's from Johnstown. And Olivia Luciani, who is from East Syracuse.
Fantastic. Now, let's talk into the season. We're 4-0, averaging wins by 30 points. People go, whoa, is that a surprise to you, Coach? Are they ahead of the game right now? Is it where you thought they would be? Or maybe they're not where you thought they should be?
I think for this point in the season, we've made some real progress. I think we're, in comparison to last year we played really well at home. Okay. So I think this is going to be a big weekend when we go on the road for the first time to see how that translates for us with our focus and things. But I'm excited where we're at. I think obviously there's still things we can work on. I think defensively we can improve a little bit and some of our offensive sets and things. But for this point in the season, I'm pretty pleased.
Pretty pleased. How about the student athlete here? Does this surprise you off to such a great start and winning by such a large margin?
No, I think it's where we should be.
Okay.
Because everybody that Coach puts in can score. And I think that every team that we've played, we were expected to beat. So I don't think it's a surprise.
And you're averaging 16 points a game. First, is she the person that this team looks to score? She leads the team right now, I think tied for 3rd in the conference. That's not a surprise. That's where she should be, you think?
Yeah, I mean, Staci was our leading scorer last year, right. And I think probably one of the nicest things about this year is our depth. And, if Staci does have an off night, we've got several other kids right. that can really step up and perform. And so, I think, there's going to be teams that really try to double team her and shut her down and things like that. And I think the benefit to the squad is we should have some other people that can step right in and score.
You haven't had many off nights so far in 4. You're shooting 48% from the field. What is your mindset out there? Are you looking for a shot, better shots? What's going through your mind when you do get the ball?
To be honest, I don't really think that much at all.
Okay.
But I prefer to take close-up shots. I think that's why my percentage is so high, because I would prefer to take layups instead of 3-point shots.
And I'm sure that's the offense is geared around her getting down low and taking better percentage shots.
Mm-hmm. And athletically, she can score because she really plays the 3-guard for us. So a lot of times she'll be taller than who's defending her. You
talked earlier about depth. We have talked off camera about your depth, maybe going 9 or 10 deep. What is, we hear this all the time, depth. Oh, they got to have depth. They got depth. What does that mean from a coaching standpoint? What does that do for you?
I think the players can play shorter stints when they're on the floor, so the intensity and also your ability to run increases with that. And then it also allows you to deal with, different situations, either foul trouble or injuries, without really losing a beat. So to go 9 and 10 deep is really a bonus.
Now, as a player, you want to be out there, 40 minutes out of 40 minutes if you could. So there's a give and take there. How do you feel about the depth? I mean, does that make you go hard for, like in hockey, you want to go hard for 40 seconds or so and then get off the ice? You want to go hard as you can for 5-6 minutes and then get a blow?
Yeah, I actually like having depth because I think it's less pressure for me and for the rest of the team and the rest of the starters.
Yeah, absolutely. And then all the scoring doesn't fall on you either. We talked about Barb Klezak earlier, and she's a senior this year, and people should know a two-sport star, really, for Buffalo State. I know you're very high on Barb. What does she bring to the table for this team?
She's definitely our floor leader, understands the game very well, and understands what we're trying to accomplish both offensively and defensively, and not only knows where she needs to be, but can help other people be in the spots that they're supposed to be in.
A quiet leader, is that a good way to describe her?
I would say a quiet leader in the locker room, but not necessarily on the playing floor.
And amazing in terms of statistics. She's averaging 4 steals a game, I believe. Is that something you look to her to stabilize the defense and maybe try to get that steal every now and then?
It's definitely a perk for her, and it really helps us with the offense to get some of those easier buckets because we're getting steals and being able to run in transition. And I think for her, it's something. She's two seasons been ranked nationally in that.
Absolutely,
as well.
Right. You're going on a Florida trip. Congratulations. You're going to take me with you? What are you laughing for? I'm all serious about that. And it's before the holiday. Tell us how this came about and why a trip to Florida.
I was really pleased with our group of returners, and it was a situation that I wanted to do something nice for them. And it's something we hadn't done since they've been here, to go somewhere, further away where we'd fly and be a nicer location. And so I think it was something the team, really strive to do. And I think it'll be a good team bonding experience.
And how many games are down there, and how long are you down? It's Daytona, I believe?
Yeah, we'll be at Daytona Beach. We're there for 4 days playing 2 games.
Fantastic. A nice trip for a junior. Yeah. You excited about it?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah. Yeah. So would I. We got about a minute and a half, and we'd be remiss. We're starting conference play this weekend up to Oneonta and New Paltz, I believe. Play well on the road. Now we go play well at home. Now we go on the road. Thoughts about your first road trip?
Yeah, I think we open up first semester with 3 out of the top 4 teams from last year.
Yep.
So we're gonna, I think, know pretty quickly, where we fit in the conference, and our ability to play on the road will be tested right away. I think Oneonta probably has, one of the more talented teams in the conference when you look at their starting 5. So I see that to be, a real battle.
And the team to beat in the conference?
I would say Oneonta.
Besides Buffalo State, obviously.
I think Oneonta and Cortland. Both are very talented.
Okay. One last question: when you go into conference play, is there a difference in terms of what's inside the adrenaline than a non-conference against, and not to put them down a Hilbert or a DeUval or somebody like that?
I get nervous before every game still, no matter who we play. But I think more during conference games.
Right. They mean more, don't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, the Bengals start their conference trip this weekend, Oneonta and New Paltz, and then back home, if you want to see some terrific women's basketball, December 9th, the Red Dragons of Cortland come to town. That's a 6 o'clock game at the Sports Arena. Plenty of great tickets available. So come on out and see the Bengals. Ladies, thanks a lot. Enjoy the weekend trip in Florida without me. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're talking men's basketball. Stay with us. Welcome back to Bengal Magazine. We're going to keep hooping it up a little bit with men's basketball, and Fajri Ansari joins us along with Norman Simmons. And welcome, men. Fajri, let's before we can go to the future, let's go back a little bit, as they say. And what an exceptional year last year. First time on the show. We haven't had a chance to talk about that this year. 23-7 and moving into the Sweet 16. I am curious. What do you remember most about that year and what happened last year?
Well, as we got into a little winning streak, in the mid part of this season, and I just remember everything just started happening so quickly. We won the SUNY championship, and we were elated, expectedly. But I remember my mind just going right away to preparing for NCAA. So I guess to sum it up, I really didn't appreciate last season until it was really over and you had the time to go back and reflect because it was so quick. You had to keep preparing for the next step.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Norman, from a student athlete perspective, what were the memorable parts of last year?
I would say the winning streak, winning the SUNY championship was a big accomplishment for me.
Right.
At the college level. How everything clicked and fell together with us as a team, coaching staff, everything was just falling into place and everything just running smoothly.
I thought it was an exceptional year. I think you mentioned it, Norman, how the team kind of came together. It's easy to say, we can look back, but were you surprised? Did you think that team was that good to advance to the Sweet 16, or especially maybe more into the year when you got a chance to see how they all blending together?
Well, the thing that I think was good that it happened for us is that now it makes it a little bit easier. When we start out the season, we say, okay, the goal is to win the national championship. And some people say, well, is that realistic? But where else do we set the goal?
Absolutely.
And so as we was able to move on and say, hey, you get closer to the situation. So now when I say that, it's like, come on,
Right.
To be honest, I thought we probably was about a year away in experience, but on the job training, as they said, it just started. Our conference is so good in terms of being tested, so I think that really helped us in the playoffs.
Is that do you understand that significance? Does that kind of blow your mind? Like, wow, that's our goal, to win the national championship.
I think we should always have high expectations. It's nothing out of our reach. I don't think it's impossible. So it blows my mind and somewhat, but not really. Because we are able to do that and accomplish that.
You were there. Do you use last year for this year, Coach, or in terms of whatever, motivation, learning, film, et cetera, or is it, that was last year. This is a new team. We've got to prove ourselves again. How do you use last year, if you do at all?
Well, I try to look at, what happened, but it's, that's history. We got to look ahead, because that's not going to necessarily help us win any games. Even though you try to forget it, it's always brought out again because of the expectations. Then you get ranked, and so. But I reminded the players last night at our game that we weren't ranked at all last year.
That's right.
And made it Sweet 16. So. I'd rather have that than being ranked and not get a chance to compete in NCAA.
Well, let's talk about this year's team because it is your first time on the show this year. Give us a little overview of what people can expect and who we can expect it from.
Well, we have 6 new players, and we're trying to buy some time. We were fortunate to be able to get everybody in the first couple of games. So trying to, they have talent, but they all come from different high school backgrounds, some a little bit more prepared than others. So trying to gel them into our structure and to kind of get them with our upperclassman who has the experience. So, but we were fortunate. Again, last night our game was a little bit of a struggle.
Right.
A few of our starters didn't give us what they normally did, but we were fortunate to go to the bench, and a couple of our freshmen really stepped up. So that was very, very encouraging.
Now, Norman, you are a senior, been with the program for a number of years. Do you sense what do you sense your role being on this team? Do you see yourself as a leader of this team, as a vocal leader? How do you see yourself this year?
Yeah, I see myself as a vocal leader on the floor because we have a new team. It's a lot of freshmen, a lot of new kids, a lot of 2 transfers, I believe. So it's new to them. The game is new. It's different from where they usually plan at. So as a returning, I have to express my vocal, because I know more was going on out there and I can help them out. And I try to do that any way I can.
Absolutely, and they have to learn this man's style of basketball. So looking down on my numbers here, 141 points, 94 points, 89 points. Wow. Is this the type of season and offense we can expect throughout the year, or is this more of an anomaly? Do you foresee this type of offense?
Well, it's the way we want to play.
Yep.
You know, the outcome has a lot to do with the opponent. You know, there will be some teams, I'm sure, that's going to try to hold the ball and slow, but we want to keep an up-tempo game, and we have to play defense, you know, to make that happen. We've been fortunate. I'm still not comfortable. We're not nowhere near where I really would like to be in terms of fast break. We've been able to score off of defense.
Okay.
But yeah, we still got a ways to go with everybody understanding it, and then also recognizing every play is not necessarily a fast break, and then how to execute. You know, that's one thing we gained experience from last year in the NCAA. You know, when a game got tight, you really had to be able to execute.
Execute the half-court game, et cetera. I chuckled a little bit because from what I've seen, I mean, it's like, wow, these guys are quick. It's got to be a fun game to play, especially for somebody like you.
Yeah, it's very fun. But like Coach said, we have to make our defense our offense, play better defense. You know, then the offense will come easier, like more frequent.
Absolutely.
You know, shots will come easier as we go along. So I think the main part is just play defense and let it be our offense.
You guys start the season as the number 19th ranked team in the country. After a few weeks, you're up to number 16. You know, you and I have had some conversations about that. Wow, that's great publicity, great recognition for the program. And yet, you got to kind of watch how these guys take it too, right, Coach? So how does all this affect the team, if at all? Well,
as I mentioned earlier, I just reminded them, you know, again, we weren't ranked last year, and we went pretty far. So it's not the ranking in itself. We watch, you know, SportsCenter every night. You'll see a team that's ranked nationally, and you know, it just puts a bullseye on your back, and everybody look forward to you know, playing their best game. Right. You know, that'll make or break us. You know, it should make us stronger. But I tried to remind them, you know, we got a long way to go, and it's not about ranking. I mean, it's good notoriety for the college, but in terms of our performance on the floor, it doesn't really mean that much.
We've got about 30 seconds left, and I'll ask you the question, Coach. Conference play starts this weekend at Oneonta. You return home next Friday, December 9th, against Cortland. That's an 8 o'clock game. How does the conference stack up? Who should we be looking at, besides Buffalo State, obviously?
Well, really, it's a good question because I learned not to look past anyone in our conference, because on any given night over the years, it's been proven that 8th place team could beat a first place team. That's right. Yeah, and so we don't take anyone lightly. You know, we expect Oswego to be strong again. Those teams that was in the playoff, you know, Brockport, but you know, Cortland was young last year. You know, Fredonia was young. So all of those teams, I think, will be a tough test for us. So.
Well, you start conference play this weekend at Oneonta in New Paltz, I believe. And then the Bengals return home Friday, December 9th to take on Cortland. That is a men's-women's doubleheader. The men are on the court at 8 o'clock at the Sports Arena. So if you're looking for great basketball, come on out to the Sports Arena next Friday, December 9th. Gentlemen, thanks very much. Good luck. Keep that ranking going. We are going to take another quick break, and when we come back, Alexa Myers is going to join us on a feature she did on Kaitlin Mergler. Stay with us. All right, we've got Alexa Myers, our roving reporter, our senior broadcast major, joining us right now, and to prelude a feature on Kaitlin Mergler. What are we going to see in this feature?
You're going to see a lot of practice film highlighting her and her swimming abilities. We're going to talk to her and her coach, Dan Allen. Okay. He had a lot of great things to say about her, and you're going to see how she interacts with her teammates a little bit.
Fantastic.
It's going to show a lot.
I think she holds like 7 school records, pool records, whatever. I mean, she's just rolling right along. Is that correct, 7, or is there more?
It's 7 individual and 4 relay.
So she's
11.
She's on the big board 11 times.
Yes.
And she's only a
junior.
A junior. So she has all of this season and all of next season, barring injury, to have more.
Yes, and both her coach and her have said she's ahead of her times from last year. Wow. So I'm really excited to see how she does this year.
Now, I know Kaitlin, and I know she's not going to be upset by me saying this, but I would think she's not the greatest subject for a reporter. She's, I would say, somewhat modest. Would you agree with that?
She's extremely modest, which is a great thing for a student athlete to be one who's so successful. But in my aspect, she didn't want to talk to herself about herself at all. So I had to try to really get her to kind of highlight herself.
Absolutely.
So that was a little difficult, but she did a great job.
We are going to show the feature on record holder Kaitlin Mergler.
Breaking records is nothing new for junior swimmer Kaitlin Mergler. But throughout her success, she remains humble and strictly dedicated to her team. Kaitlin, you were recruited by many other schools in high school. What made you finally decide to come to Buffalo State?
I came here and I came on the recruiting trip, and the team was really inviting and they're all friendly, so I was like, I'll give it a shot, see how it goes.
Coach Dan Allen quickly noticed Caitlin's talent when he became head coach last season.
My first impression, very quiet. Very quiet. Not really outgoing until I got to know her a little bit. But she was I could tell she was very passionate about swimming. Right away, I can just tell her demeanor in the water that she really cared and wanted to excel in the water.
In just 2 seasons, Kaitlin has broken 7 individual school records and 4 relay records, an accomplishment that even she wasn't expecting.
I didn't even think I was going to, because I was at like one set time, and I was like convinced I wasn't going to go any faster. But with the different training, I did.
Coach Allen has a lot of expectations for Kaitlin as the season continues.
I sat down here at the beginning of the year and we talked about her goals. I think last year it was a great year for her. She, obviously broke a lot of our school records. She swam some off events and broke some more school records. This year, I think she's ready to take the next step. She's training great right now. She has excelled where she was last year. Last year was an adjustment period for her for the training. This year, she's already way ahead of her pace right now. I think she's got the potential to hit a provisional cut in CAs, but she's got to put the work in the pool and out of the pool. One thing that we've added to our regimen is some weightlifting. She needs to get stronger, and I can already tell that she's getting stronger. And I think if she does everything she's capable of doing, I think at the end of the year she'll see the results.
How do you handle having a bad race and still having to go out and keep racing in that meet?
You just gotta tell yourself you have other races you have to swim, and if you get in a bad set of mind, then you'll just swim another bad race, and that you can't do that. Just gotta stay positive.
At times, Kaitlin has to race in multiple events to help the team succeed. As a leader, she always puts the better of the team first. She doesn't see swimming as just an individual sport.
She's very humble, and as an athlete like that, and she's a pretty outstanding swimmer, she's a very humble person, and sometimes that's a hard quality to find in an athlete, very humble. Sometimes when you get an athlete that's very outstanding, they can have an ego, and she doesn't have an ego whatsoever, which is great. Another quality is she loves to race. I'll tell you that. She's a big meet swimmer. She loves to get up and race, and that's something that you can't teach. She has that quality, and sometimes as a coach, you wish your swimmers would have that, but they just don't have that, but she has that, and it's great.
The Bengal swimmers travel every year for a training camp. Last year's trip to Florida was a favorite memory for Kaitlin.
Last year was the first year that we drove, what was it, 20 hours on the bus with like 20-something student athletes. So, I mean, that was fun, team bonding and everything. And the trip itself was fun. We get to just hang out, have a good time. But the practices, those are hard.
Both Kaitlin and Coach Allen expect even greater success within the next 2 years.
This year and next year, I think the goal would probably be, and I've always told our swimmers, don't swim harder, swim smarter. With our training program, I'm trying to get kids to realize and educate them how to train properly. And that's probably the goal I would teach all my student athletes, including Kaitlin, how to swim properly.
In the training, yes, because I can look at my times from last year, where we are now in the season. I look at the times now, and I'm already like ahead in my times, so I feel like it's progressive.
Kaitlin has had so much success, and she's only a junior. I'm sure this isn't the last we're going to hear from this Buffalo State swimmer. I'm Alexa Myers with Bengal Magazine.
Wow, what a terrific piece, and only a junior and probably many more records to come. What's next in terms of feature stories?
We're going to do a feature story on strength and conditioning here at Buffalo State. Renee Carlino is the head of it.
You right?
And we're going to also talk to some of the trainers, some of the coaches, some of the players. It's going to be a big...
Yeah, training is not like Mom and Dad used to do. I mean, it's very in-depth now, and I'm looking forward to that feature. Thanks a lot, Alexa, for being on the show. Thanks to men's basketball, Fajri Ansari, women's basketball, Sue Roarke, everybody here at Instructional Resources, and you, the viewers. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for more Bengal Magazine.